Hey, Kris, great to see you, and thank you for coming on my B2B Coaches 5 Tips sessions. These have been great ways to introduce people I respect to my community, and I definitely respect you as a leader in the entrepreneurial industry, a author, and a hell of a bike rider. So, Kris, if you could share a little bit of what you do and what you're passionate about, and then just go straight into your 5 tips, and I'll ask you a couple of questions at the end.
Okay, right on. Well, John, thank you very much, dude. To hear those words from you is humbling. I'm truly humbled to be on your show today. I work with primarily with senior leadership teams and senior advisors, or excuse me, leadership teams and senior leaders as an advisor, and also doing strategic work. I have a variety of different tools that I use to help them with that. But the new thing that I'm launching is the hippie capitalist. It's a little on the weird side, different side, but it's helping people embrace the idea that they can define what success looks like on their terms. And if we can define what success looks like, then we can go out and how do we break it down and achieve it. So,
excellent.
Long story short, that's what that we do there.
That's great.
So with this, today, you and I talked about it, and one of the areas that I see consistently with people with challenges, and this is both with leaders and leadership teams and individuals, is how do they go through and manage their time better? And time management is one of those bigger challenges. So where I have everybody start, it sounds really simple, but is actually to go through and list it out. If people take the time to go through and list out throughout the course of, say, a week, roughly where is it they're investing their time? Roughly 15-minute time blocks. How much time are they doing in this? Where are they putting their time there? This in and of itself, as silly as it may sound, can be one of those challenges that when people see this and they see it written out, I can't tell you how the light bulbs go off when people realize that their silly little devices that are supposed to save them time, meaning their cell phones, are actually total time hijacks, and that we lose a lot of control when we're bouncing in and out of things. But the first thing is to start listing those things out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. The next thing then, and this comes from EOS, which is the Entrepreneur Operating System, of which I've been professionally trained in the implementation. And I love this tool because it's really, really simple, but it's very, very powerful. If you take those things and you start listing those things out there, what are those things that you love and you're great at? Things that you like and you're good at? Things that you don't like and you're good at, or maybe you're good at them, but you don't like doing them. And the bottom ones are the ones that you hate and you suck. I get that.
Yeah. When
we're business owners and entrepreneurs, we have to live here. We have to do a little bit of everything. We're chief cook, bottle washer, a little of all of that. Ideally, though, we want people to start transitioning to where everybody on our staff is above the line. When you can achieve that, what you're doing is you're starting to become where people are maximizing what their potential is and what they're great at. And if we can be over here in the top left quadrant and things that we love and we're great at, well, realistically, that's self-actualization. And that's where people are really going to start to refine and hone their skills and become amazing. Now, in this area down here, the don't like, not good, or the hate, stink, that I like to call it. For me, as an example, this is an area with, well, open and honest, I'm reasonably dyslexic. I have 6 companies. I can fill out government forms, but my eyes bleed and they're probably going to be wrong. So the intention with this is we list those things out here, and then it's up to us to start finding talent, people who are great at it, that want to be able to dive in and can do those things better. So I have a handful of bookkeepers and a couple of accountants that work for me. I don't quite understand it, but they love it. And in that case, this happens to sit in their top left quadrant. They love doing it and they're great at it. So when we're doing this, our primary objective is to start defining who can help us. How can we delegate those things out? Because as business owners, when we have to do everything in the middle, fair enough, but we have to learn to start letting go of that vine, letting go of those things, delegate those things out there.
Got it. I like it.
So this next tool is something I developed with my book, The Aspiring Solopreneur, but the intention with this is to start actually putting a dollar value to our time. What's your time worth? And when you think about it, there's only 3 things in the world we can leverage: our time, our talent, and our treasure. Well, treasure is what everybody measures, meaning money and stuff, but it's the least valuable because it can disappear and we can leverage it. Always bring it back up. Talent is something that we can always be improving. Nobody can steal it. We have to give it away. And our time is probably our greatest asset because it diminishes every second. So the way that I suggest people look at doing this, if you have an hourly value of time, let's say you make 100 grand a year, fair enough. We say that there's 2,000 hours in a year, 40 hours a week times 50 weeks. We're saying that your time, quote unquote, is worth $50 an hour. That's the value of your time.
Yep.
If you take those things that you have listed and put what are the things you love and you're great at here? What are the things you like and good at? Okay, hate and suck at it, and love and suck at it. Well, this respectfully would be me in like golf. I might like it, but I suck at it. So that's a hobby. This bottom one is a hobby. It's things where, all right, you have to acknowledge I'm spending money, I'm spending time doing it. But once we start seeing this, it allows us to dive in a little bit further and figure out, okay, wow, doing that high level business development, working on the culture within my organization, training those new things, building those new processes, man, that's $1,000, $10,000, $5,000 an hour work. That's where I should be focusing my time.
Got it.
Versus here, the books. Oh my God, bookkeeping. I hate it. I suck at it. I should contract all that stuff out. But it's a very simple tool that helps us to start defining what it is we need to leverage out and how do we let go of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I really like that form. That
all right, cool.
Compartmentalize it really well.
All right, so then this next one is specifically designed when we get, and a lot of times the front end managers, we get to a point where we've got our front line, and our front line is like, well, I don't like doing this and I want to delegate it away. Well, maybe we don't have anybody to delegate it away to. But sometimes we can realign what people are doing in different ways. So in this particular case, if we have a team that is accountable to get everything done in that particular segment, great. They need to, what are those things that they need to maintain or they need to maximize? If you've got a front end sales force, their main job is to do boom, 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 whatever it is. Close deals, new leads, what are those things? What are the things that we're currently doing that we can eliminate? From the movie Office space, can we eliminate those TPS reports? Can we eliminate all that BS that has no value, but we've always done it that way? Let's propose it, see what we can do to address it. Are there other things that we can simplify, innovate, or automate? We are moving at light speed, and if we look at those things, are there ways that we can take different actions, activities, tasks that have become mundane, but they're not highest and best use of our time, and we actually figure out a way to simplify them and innovate? And then the last, is there something that we need to be coordinating that if we could have more value with one side or the other? Is this a way that we could be getting referrals? Is this a way that we could be maximizing our engagements? Can we be getting add-on sales? Can we be, getting, good stories for our PR firm? Whatever those points may be. But using this very simple tool can be very, very effective on those front lines to help provide people another way of looking at things and how can we harness the power of the front to help us get there.
Got it.
All right, and then the last thing is the idea of time blocking. And I steal this from the book called The One Thing, which is a wonderful book on it. But it talks about how we lose about 30% of our time, up to, each day in transitions. Cognitively, every time our phone buzzes or rings, or we're very Pavlovian, we only may spend a minute on that email, but it'll take us almost 3 minutes to get back into the cognitive thought of where we were if it was very deep and focused. So in the book, I use it if you're wearing the hat of an investor, a manager, a businessman, or technician, whatever those are, you block your time out to where this is where I'm going to be focused for 2 or 3 hours on X, or maybe you start with an hour, or whatever it may be.
Right.
If you can start being very intentional with your time, being very, very productive with your time, very protective of it, highest and best use. And if you can get people to start understanding that, no, if the door's closed, unless the building's burning down around me, I need to stay laser focused on what we do, you can get a lot more done in a much shorter, compressed time because we're proactively taking control of our time. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Those are great. Those are some fantastic tips. Question for, I obviously deal with a lot of small business owners, and they struggle getting started on something like this. What are those holdbacks? How have you helped them overcome some of those types of things? Just get them started on, whether it's delegating or just focusing on the right stuff. I love the tips, but just that first inertia to get over the line.
The biggest challenge is most business owners and securities of actually letting go. I've always done it this way. This is how I do it. And the biggest challenge is that as a business owner, understanding that the bigger you get, and I have some billion-dollar organizations I work with now, the fewer decisions that you should be making, but they're going to be much bigger and much more important. And understanding that when you're deep in the weeds, working in the business, you may make 80 decisions a day. Ideally, when you become the senior leader, you may be making 8 amazing decisions a month. But to do that, you have to realize that you have to build a team around you that you trust, and you have to let people go. And it's not like, hey, dude, here's the keys, drive it like you stole it, good luck. That's not going to work. We have to train those people, and then we have to let them go off the rails a little bit, but help them and be very, very patient with it. But be very intentional with, this is where we need to start getting that time. How do we transition to that point?
That's really good. Yeah, time management is critical, and doing what you're good at is critical, but it's sometimes hard to get there as a business owner. I want to thank you for being on the 5 tips today. It was a great information. I know people will enjoy watching it. Your email was all over it, so we can have people contact you, I assume, just on your email if they want to learn more about what you do and what services you offer.
Got to ask for the sale. Yep. Thank you very much. So yeah, if I can be of any help with that, please let me know. Again, John, Thank you so much, dude.
I appreciate it.